good profit, gonna be a good year. All those morons out there killing each other, doing it for the bloodlust. They lack the entrepreneurial spirit. They lack the heart of America. Idiots. The first Purge. So the first Purge is the fourth Purge movie, but the Purge movie that's a prequel, so it shows how the Purge started out. And in a world where we're socially, politically, and racially united as a country, this is gonna trigger nobody. Possibly the government started the Purge to eliminate a lot of poor minorities. Yeah, told you, it triggered nobody. Which I feel like I knew that going into it. Was that addressed in the last movie? I really don't remember a lot about the third Purge movie. Just wasn't a fan, but when I was going into this movie, I felt like that was just known. Basically, we see how the Purge started. It's not the entirety of America. It's actually Staten Island, New York. It's the testing ground. If this goes well, it'll go nationwide. Let the Purge commence. And I like seeing how this started out because it's not so black and white. It's not like, oh, we can kill people. Wasn't really like that. There is a crawl to it. It's an interesting choice. It was a choice that I kind of took for granted. I just figured out people can kill people, they will. And the chips are down, these civilized people, they will eat each other, right? Well, not really, but by not really, it lends for some social commentary. Social commentary in our Blumhouse picture horror action franchise. Weird. Basically, I really like the protagonist in the movie. He's the leader of the main gang of the area. It shows he's not a bad guy. He's the leader of a gang. But that element of it kind of reminded me of The Wire. It's not just like good guys and then drug dealers bad. But making the hero, the protagonist, a gang leader, it kind of reminds me of Frank Grillo from the second Purge movie. You don't have a good guy you know is a good guy. Maybe he's layered. Maybe he's flawed. Maybe he's damaged. Maybe he wouldn't be a lot of people's first pick to be a role model for the children, but maybe he can help some people survive the Purge. This is actually a Purge movie that took a little bit to get going. I mean, you need some character development in the beginning, sure. You need some Purge development too. But really the killings, the murder, the horror. It doesn't come in until much later in this movie because it's the first Purge. People don't just pick up weapons and start swinging away. One of them does, a couple of them do. But it's not like the moment the horn sounds, it's immediate danger like the other Purge movies. Horn sounds, people are like, it's a new scenario. What do we do? I don't know, let's have a rave in the street and get high. The last act of the movie is when it really picks up, when it really becomes an exciting Purge movie, which means the last act of this movie I really enjoyed. There were actually a few social moments. Not all of them landed, I feel. A couple of them I was like, was that supposed to be serious? Like there's this one guy who's like clawing at this girl and he's trying to grab her crotch. She fends him off and when she's running away, she yells, "Pussy grabbing motherfucker." I was like, that's a Donald Trump jab. But it was just kind of awkward. If she just ran off, it would have been more terrifying. Because it was terrifying when you were watching it, and then that line just took all the wind out of the sails. So like, it's no longer frightening. Just kind of, everyone went, the value would have been greater, as they say, if she had just run off and that had been the scenario. Don't do an awkward line that compromises that fear. The movie was cheesy in parts, but that's kind of what the Purge movies are at this point. And there were a couple of editing choices. One in particular, I don't think it's an editing choice. I have to assume they wanted to change how a character wrapped up, and they didn't have the actor back, so they were like, well, we just need to we're gonna have them die, and it's gonna happen on a monitor as someone's watching it without showing their face. And that's how they end. Which, if that's the scenario and I'm making a leap here, that's the best they could have done, so good on them. But it does make the audience feel a bit cheated. Guys, in the end, the first Purge was probably the second best Purge movie. I like the main character's arc. I like seeing the Purge develop, though it having to develop makes for a slower Purge movie in parts. Like, I walked out of this movie going, wow, that movie might have been too long. Nope, it was an hour and a half long. Which is a perfect time frame for a Purge movie, which means I can only critique their time management at that point. Maybe some of the character arcs could have been combined. Maybe you didn't have to have all the characters you had. There are a lot of branches in this movie. A lot happens with a lot of characters. The movie was corny in parts, but in the end, I enjoyed it. So I'm gonna say it was a fine time. No alcohol required. All right, so the first Purge. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below. Let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.